for safety.
What's for safety?
This is for safety.
Oh.
All these deal.
All this gear.
Yep, and have some on honeys.
Cool.
See.
Yes, we are ready. So parenting is really hard. I've had my fair share of mistakes. It wasn't until a couple years ago when I decided to fully, give over my reins to my kids to God and allow Him to be the parent through me that I started to, really just appreciate life's little moments. Things that seem like mess ups, I turn it into a lesson and I try to do better the next time. And it's been just a fun experience, and I've really enjoyed motherhood a lot more since I began to do that. Before that, after both of my girls, who are now 3 and 6, I had postpartum depression really bad after both of them. Life seemed endless and hopeless, and there was so many dark moments where I just couldn't even think about getting up the next day because I knew that the entirety of that day consisted of me trying to not screw up my children. I was living in fear, fear of failure, fear of, making wrong decisions, saying hurtful things, and, doing all of this stuff to my little moldable children who I was supposed to love. But I was living in so much distress. I was saved. I did know God, but my relationship with Jesus was lacking severely. I didn't understand that at the time because we were going in church. We were even serving in leadership at church. I read my Bible mostly just when I was at church. But, I didn't understand what living with Jesus, walking with Jesus, I didn't understand what that meant. It was a long story, but I eventually discovered Jesus. I learned what it meant to have a relationship with Him. I learned what it felt like to call Him a friend, and now I believe He calls me a friend. Because you can't just be someone's friend just because you were created through them. It takes work. It is a relationship. So it's not something that you can just believe in Him and okay, I believe in Him, so now I'm saved, now we're good. I didn't ever get past that point until a couple years ago, and I'm so thankful that I have. It's made me a better mom. It's made me a better wife. It's made me a better leader. And I am just so thankful to my husband for leading me the correct way, but also just to Jesus for being so patient with me. But even walking with God and having a relationship with Jesus, knowing the Holy Spirit, parenting is still hard and it's still tough. You have these little humans, and God has entrusted you to mold them and to build them into who He has designed them to be. And to me, that is just the toughest job that I could ever think of. But it's also the most rewarding and the most exciting job that I could ever dream of having. And I'm just so excited to be a mom. But, life does throw so many curveballs. Every single day I feel like I have a new obstacle in my path in that my pursuit to be a good mother to my children. So we have done what we've done really well in parenting is teaching our children to not live inside of the boundaries of fear. We teach them the realities of what fear is and how it can be so crippling. We teach them what the Bible says and how it talks about, that nothing's impossible with God. And it's just been so fun to watch them learn and to process that and to just bring that into their level of life and see it from their perspective. And honestly, I've learned so much through them. You think you're the parent, so you're the teacher, but so many times my children reverse that on me and they are my teacher. And it's so beautiful and it's just so exciting. And I'm just so excited to share with you a testimony of what our parenting and style of, living with God and not allowing fear to cripple you, what it has done with our children. Our girls, they're 3 and 6 years old. They love riding their bikes. They have they each have a bike, and they have little training wheels on them. They're little princess bikes. They love them so much. They pretend they're cars. They drive all over the place in the driveway, and they conquered riding through grass. They thought that was the greatest because it took more strength. And but it was yesterday that my 6-year-old came to me and she said, "Hey Mom, I want you to take my training wheels off." And I was thinking, I didn't learn how to ride my bike till I was 7, mostly because I was scared. But I was like, okay, yeah, if you want to do that, let's go do it. I believe you can ride. And so we went out there, and I took off her training wheels, and I was in the middle of explaining to her what would happen if she fell, how to catch herself. And before I could even finish explaining how to catch yourself if you start to fall, she took off and didn't fall at all. And she just rode her bike. I didn't have to push her. I didn't have to guide her. I didn't have to hold on to her because she wasn't afraid. She wasn't afraid. She didn't let fear cripple her. And she knew no boundaries with Jesus. And it was so beautiful. And it was so exciting. I just cried and laughed so hard because God spoke to me so much in that moment of, what life is supposed to be like and how we are supposed to just, push on with the Lord. And, despite challenges, we're supposed to just keep on going. And it was just a beautiful picture of, what it looks like to live life without fear. And it was so amazing. And she's driving her bike just fine, riding it great. And it's just so funny. And now that's what that's all she's wanting to do now, because she just is so excited and so proud of herself. And it's been such a rewarding experience for her. But right after she rode her bike, my 3-year-old came up. She said, "Mommy, I want to ride without training wheels. Take my training wheels off." And I was thinking, oh man, 3 years old? Okay. I mean, this was my internal thought process, but I didn't want to instill fear, doubt, or anything negative into her little mind that she knew she was capable because her big sister was capable. She doesn't really see age. She doesn't see, resistance, or she doesn't see anything that could cause any difficulty on her part. She just saw, hey, my sister did it and I'm going to do it too. And so I took her training wheels off. I was a little reluctant. I was a little nervous, but I did it. I just felt, this pulling, like, okay, she's going to be okay. She's going to be fine. She can do this. And I took her training wheels off, and she hopped on that bike, and she took off too. I had to guide her a little more than, my other daughter, but not really. She's got it down. She can barely even reach the ground on her bike because her legs are so short, and that's been her only obstacle. She has perfect balance, perfect steering, and she can ride it just fine, and I didn't have to teach her either. And that, to me, was just absolutely amazing. And I can't help but to see just the beauty of God and just the Father in this. And it just blows my mind. But anyway, so my 3-year-old, she was riding well, but she was struggling to stop. And every once in a while, she would struggle to stop to turn. And so I was trying to walk her and help her process that, because she was frustrated because she was watching her sister do something, and then she had some little struggles and bumps along the way, and her sister was just going through it and surpassing everything and not having any difficulties. And so I was just talking to her, and I was like, "It's okay, you're okay." And she's like, "Yeah, I can do it. I can do it." And she would ride it, and she'd fall over, and she'd jump up and say, "I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again." And she just kept doing that. And we did that for a long time, and then she hurt herself, and she cried, and she wanted to come inside. And so I brought her inside, and, I just hugged her and loved on her and told her how proud I was of her. And it was really amazing because today she woke up. She went to bed last night, and when we woke up this morning, the girls were wanting to ride their bikes again. And then they realized they didn't have training wheels on. My oldest was super excited because she remembered, what she had conquered yesterday. But my youngest one, she was fearful. She was afraid because she knew she had fell and hurt herself the last time she was on her bike. And in that moment, I remembered what my husband had told me, because after I shared, he's not here. He wasn't able to be here. We just sent him videos. He's on a trip right now. And so I had sent him a video, and, last night he talked to me and he said, it's more important right now how we handle their failure in this. Whenever they're not just doing really good, or when they get hurt, like how are we going to respond, and what are we going to do to keep them pushing and going forward? And that hit me last night, and I was thinking about that, but it wasn't until this morning whenever the girls asked me, my little girl was fearful, and she asked me to put her training wheels back on. And I looked at her and I said, "Don't you remember how well you did yesterday?" She said, "But I fell." And I said, "Yes, you did, but you can do it. You are so capable, and you're going to do it, and you're going to do really good, and I'm going to go help you." And so then I was heading outside to go with her, and she just got this like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It was like this rush of just excitement and joy. And she said, "I can do it. I can do it. I can do it." And she's just encouraging herself in this little 3-year-old body. And it's just like so beautiful seeing her just process this and turn her failure into a victory. But she started singing the Trolls song, "I'm not giving up today. Nothing's going to get in my way. If you knock me over, I'm going to get back up and try again." She started singing that song. And so I took our little portable speaker and I started playing it. We were blasting it, and she has a little basket in the front of her bike, and I put that little speaker in there, and we went outside and we tried for like 15-20 more minutes this morning, and it was so beautiful, and it just spoke to me so much. And in that moment I knew I needed to share, because so many people are living in a mindset of failure and fear and what if I don't, or what if I can't, that it's crippling them and they're not able to reach their full potential. And I just want to share a little piece of our story of how we have conquered fear and how we are victors in Jesus, because He is our victory. We are standing in victory, we're fighting from victory, and there's nothing that we can do without God by our side. And I just really want to be an encouragement, and I also have some little video clips of our little bike rides over the last couple of days, and I just want you guys to be encouraged. God bless.
Girl don't have training wheels on anymore. I literally took her training wheels off, and I was trying to teach her what to do if she starts to fall, and she just took off. I did not teach her. She just did it all on her own. All right, go.
Okay.
You can do it.
Okay. Ready to...
This is insane to me. I can't even be careful about the fence.
Without training wheels, see that?
Yeah, she's riding without training wheels.
Got a sunny sky, so shiny and blue, and there's a butterfly. Well, isn't that so fantastic?
Woo! Get back up again.